Happy Thursday. Keith Tebow with you. Time for our weekly conversation with City of Fall River's Mayor Paul Coogan. Mayor, happy Thursday. How are you?
Doing fine. It's beautiful Thursday.
It is. It's going to be a beautiful weekend, too. Looking forward to that. I
Yeah.
actually want to start this week not talking about COVID-19. I actually want to talk about the city budget. You sent down a city budget for fiscal year 2022 this week to the city council. $349 million. And, talk in general, Mayor, in terms of the development of the budget and, trying to strive for, fiscal responsibility.
Uh, well, again, this obviously because we're coming out of this very unique year, the American Rescue Act gave us some ability to use some of their funds for lost revenue, which will fill the gaps in the budget and probably for the next few years anyway. So that will keep us on line with a balanced budget. Um, it's overall not a very aggressive budget. We kind of stayed mostly where we were. We're still, again, we're getting guidance every day now on what we can do with the American Rescue Act money. So we may be able to do a few things we have on the shelf coming forward. But it's a conservative budget. It kind of keeps us going. The schools are the biggest increase, again, is in the schools and then the funding that they're getting there from the Student Opportunity Act. So that's what we're looking at. But we have minimal raises in for people, and we'll work with our unions to make sure we can do some creative things to try to keep everybody working together, and we'll go forward from there.
Now, the budget calls for a tax increase of 2.5%. That has been sort of standard for the past few years. The city is not instituting the opportunity to collect further taxes as part of the debt exclusion for BMC Durfee High School. And even though there's a lot of talk online primarily, the budget does not include any fees for trash. So there will be a water fee increase and a sewer fee increase. We've talked about that in the past. Now, Mayor, in terms of personnel, you're looking to try to bring where you can some people back that positions that were vacant from FY 2020 that were not filled in 2021. So there's not really any broad-based increases in terms of personnel, correct?
Oh, those were positions that were in the budget. We put freezes on them when last year's budget was a little more difficult. We didn't fill positions. We had tried to combine positions where we could. We tried to reduce positions, but some, when we looked at it after a year, some weren't necessary to improve services to the residents. So we're putting them back in. The 2.5% raise is pretty standard. The reason we moved the Durfee debt exclusion up, Mary and I talked about this, was the additional savings we were going to get long term, like almost similar, like taking a mortgage and reducing the years on it overall. So we're trying to do some creative things to save the city money long term, and again be conservative. There are going to be some increases. There are some things we are still looking to do with the American Rescue Act money to give some people either rate relief or maybe even some tax relief. But again, that guidance came out 2 days ago, so the bill passed March 6th, but they didn't give us the guidance till Wednesday this week. So Tuesday afternoon. So we're trying to figure it out.
All right. And in terms of the rest of the American Rescue Plan funding, would that be something in some sort of a supplemental spending plan in terms of how that may be spent? Now, it's going to be split over 2 years, right? Half of it this year and half next year, $73 million in total, right?
Correct. And it's, as I've said before, it's a real windfall for the city, but the cost to get that windfall was very severe, and I think we can do a lot of positive things for the city of Fall River. I think the city will be in a tremendous financial position, even if it is for a few years. But what we want to do is build that money into long-term relief for the ratepayers and the taxpayers, so that things going up, 3, 5, 7 years from now are not going to go up as severely if we can use our American Rescue Act money to limit those increases.
Yeah. All right. Now moving on to the latest COVID-19 news. Good news last week, Mayor, in terms of infections in the city, they continue to go down to the point that Fall River is no longer in the red as one of those higher risk communities. Are you seeing similar trends this week that the numbers should probably stay about the same as, just the number of cases overall have gone down?
Yeah, I think that's accurate. I looked at those state numbers in a couple of days. We've had no deaths, which I think is very positive from COVID. That's what we need to do. The numbers in Fall River have been better than they've been in a long time, but we've been on that swing for a long time. So when we get to the end is when we'll celebrate.
Right. Absolutely. Now, in terms of the distribution of the vaccine, last week you officially launched the frvax.com site. We're sending people there to get updates on where they can get the vaccine. Is there still a lot of hesitancy left? I know that I've heard some reports last week that there's still a large number of appointments available for people. Walk-ins are pretty much available everywhere now. Is there still that fear of getting that word out, getting people in?
Yeah, we were talking. We had a meeting yesterday with Tess, and we're still looking at some creative things to do to try to get people vaccinated. We've been moving around. We had a clinic in the lobby of Government Center last week. We're going to be on the road down at Globe Four Corners. I think we're going to be going to Durfee. We're going where the people are, and we're going to keep grinding. Our percentage, I want to say, is 8 or 10 points behind the rest of the state for fully vaccinated people. I mean, the way this was rolled out is just unbelievable to me. We still get people that think that when they get the vaccine, they're getting a chip injected in them or something. And I think that's just not something that's based on any kind of reality I know. I just think that for some reason, the way the internet handles things and the way the news reports it, it's really, really difficult. My belief and my contention is that anybody that had COVID or experienced COVID when it was one of those severe cases, they would cut the line to get a vaccine if they knew what was coming, because it is not fun to be intubated. It's not fun to sit in a hospital. It's not fun to quarantine. But when you don't experience those things and you fly around saying, oh, this is a sham, we don't need a vaccine. Okay, well, I mean, but I know the counter to that is when things go bad, they're going to be very disappointed in their own behavior. I read that story about the rock star Ted Nugent, who was an anti-vaxxer. His comments were after he got COVID, he said, I really thought I was going to die. I mean, it's not a fun disease. In many, many cases, it's minimal symptoms, I agree. But if you get whacked, you're going to know it for the rest of your life.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Some other good news in terms of reopenings. The state expanded its reopening again this week. The library in Fall River has reported that walk-ins are now available, even though there's still limits in terms of capacity there. What about senior centers? I know we've talked about this in the past, and that is sort of part of the next phase of reopening. Any updates on senior centers here in Fall River?
We're going to be hiring a director, and we're going to be getting those going maybe piecemeal within the next few weeks. It's right on my list right now, senior centers. I got to talk about that with Tess this morning. Obviously, when this started, they were the most vulnerable population. People were extremely protective of the seniors, as they should be. And we don't want in any way, shape, or form to run a bunch of people into anything that could put them at risk. But I can guarantee you we're working on it.
Yeah. And finally, we just talked about when we started a little bit about the good weather over the next few days. There's a lot of activity happening in Fall River this weekend. Obviously, the official dedication of the replica Vietnam Veterans Wall at Bicentennial Park is taking place Saturday, as well as Fabric of Fall River holding a number of events across the city. So good opportunity for people to get out and enjoy the weather, and also taking part in great activity in the community, right?
And we had an event last weekend right down here at Government Center, going up Old 2nd Street, which was great. And with those events you just mentioned, the Wall and the Fabric Festival, we're seeing a little bit more activity. Again, coming up the 21st, we have our drive-in, our city cleanup. There's some things going. I was talking to the former policeman, a friend of mine who just retired, Mike Pereira. We're going to try to get our basketball tournaments going. I was walking around Kennedy Park and Maplewood Park last night watching Little League. It was great to see the kids playing. So things are slowly coming back to life, and that's what we need. But we still have to be cautious till we get over that final hurdle.
Yeah.
And I know we can get there if we just keep going the way we're going.
Yeah. All right, Mayor Paul Coogan, thank you again. As always, we'll talk again next week. Take care.
Thanks, Keith. Appreciate it.
All right. And have a good week. I'm Keith Tebow, FRC Media. We'll talk to you next time.